panel discussion, Where Does the Buck Stop for Leaders in Healthcare Quality? Challenges in Leadership. I welcome Dr. Suvin Shetty to coordinate this panel discussion. Dr. Suvin is the Vice Chairman, PAHO Quality Professionals Wing, and Consultant Pathologist and Head of Laboratory Medicine, Dr. Hiranandani Hospital, Mumbai. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Vidya. It's my honor to coordinate the panel discussion with such a fantastic team of stalwarts. The topic for the panel discussion is where does the buck stop for leaders in healthcare quality, the challenges in leadership. And we have a fantastic team of moderators as well as panelists. I will be introducing the moderators and I'll request moderators to take over from there. We have Dr. Sanjeev Singh, the Medical Director, AIIMS Faridabad, Chief Medical Superintendent, AIIMS Kochi. He is a pediatrician by qualification. He is presently the Vice Chair of the Research Committee at NABH, as well as the Chairman of Technical Committee at AHPI and Health Sector Council of India, Government of India. And we have this our second moderator, Dr. Suneel Mundkur. He is also a pediatrician. By coincidence, both of them happen to be a pediatrician, and is the teaching faculty for last 20 years and professor in Department of Pediatrics in Kasturba Medical College, Manipal. And just to add to his qualification, I've just added, he's also the ardent proponent of Yakshagana, which is a theatrical dance art form in the coastal Karnataka, where I also happen to come from. Over to you, Dr. Sanjeev Singh, sir, and Dr. Suneel, sir.
Yeah, good evening to all of you. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Leadership is not about titles, positions, and work hours. It's about relationships. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and compassion to listen to the needs of the others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by equality of his actions and the integrity of his intent. Leaders are made and not born, and we have one such elite group of leaders with us to discuss more about challenges in the leadership and quality in healthcare setup, and to discuss much more on where does the buck stop for leaders in healthcare industry. Let me introduce my panelists for you. And we have Professor Dr. Atul Mohan Kochhar. I don't think you need, sir, you need any introduction. The Chief Executive Officer of NABH, has worked since 2003 as a professor and consultant in the Department of Rheumatology and STD, Lok Naik Hospital and Maulana Azad Medical College in New Delhi. He is the recipient of the Sardari Lal Memorial Award for the year 2015, and he is current president and president for Society for Pediatric Dermatology and founder secretary of Scientific Cosmetological Society. He has since December 2019 taken over as the Chief Executive Officer of NABH. Welcome to you, sir. We have Madam Gracy Mathai. Lesser told about her because it will be the whole session will be over if I start introducing her each and every sentence. I'll just say a few words about Madam. Brought revolutionary changes in the nursing administration after taking charges as nursing superintendent of Mumbai Municipal Corporation Hospital. Best Nursing Administrators Award from Mumbai Municipal Corporation in the year 1999. Brought a revolutionary change in the uniform of nurses from the traditional one to the colorful shirts and trousers at Lilavati Hospital, Mumbai. Part of commissioning in the hospital from project stage in Lilavati Hospital, Mumbai, MIMS Calicut, Kottakkal, DM WIMS Wayanad, Aster Medicity Kochi. Taken the leading role in getting MIMS Calicut and MIMS Kottakkal accredited by NABH and QCI, and leading role in getting Aster Medicity accredited certified by NABH, JCI, Nursing Excellence, ISO 9008, Green OT, HACCP, and Emergency Medicine. Many accolades, and a fantastic leader by profession, Madam Gracy Mathai. Welcome to you, ma'am. Dr. Murli Srinivasan, a very well-known name in quality and leadership, the Chief Medical Officer, Services, Consultant Neurologist, Healthcare Quality Professionals, and placed in Bangalore, Manipal Hospital, Bangalore. He is the Chief of Medical Services for Manipal Health Enterprises, and more than 20 years of experience as an administrator and more than 20 years of experience as a neurologist. He is right now heading the quality and medical services in Manipal group of hospitals, the graduate of Kasturba Medical College, Mangalore, and has studied GM Neurology from Christian Medical College. Very, very efficient and eminent speaker for today. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
The fourth in the leader group is Madam Upasana Arora, Director, Yashoda Super Specialty Hospital, Ghaziabad. Is a dynamic leader in the Indian healthcare industry, has inspired Yashoda Hospital since 2000 and many more quality professionals across India. The first Indian working in India to be awarded the prestigious fellowship of ISQA Award and International Fellowship on Healthcare Technology Assessment, Anglia Ruskin University in UK. She is presently Director, Yashoda Hospital, Super Specialty Hospital, Ghaziabad. She is a chairperson for SCPC Healthcare Sector and Indo-US Chamber of Commerce Healthcare Division, co-chairperson for ASSOCHAM Healthcare Council, Empowerment Council, and Women Forums. She is a member of NABL Board and Accreditation Committee of NABH, and she is a committee member of Medical Tourism Committee and Health Service Committee of FICCI. Madam, welcome to you. The fifth panelist for today is Mr. Gaurav Loria, Chief Quality Officer and Head Operations Senior Vice President, Apollo Hospitals. Senior healthcare executive with over 16 years of experience in hospitals, ambulatory care clinics, healthcare IT, consultancy projects, multi-site management with an excellent understanding of hospital processes. Champion special go-to-market strategy, turnaround projects, cost efficiency, revenue generation, hospital design to launch and quality and process improvement projects across the department in hospitals. Experience in leading the successful completion of the real-time 35 JCI and more than 60 NABH accreditations. Out of the box thinker with excellent communication, analytical and leadership skills. Successfully organized support projects to position the organization as a top healthcare provider. As an administrator, surveyor, Joint Commission International for years and surveyed many places across the globe. As a member of expert panel to review NABH standards for ambulatory care and CII for various projects. Welcome, Mr. Gaurav Loria, sir. So with that introduction, let me start this discussion. Dr. Atul Kochhar, very good evening, sir. So we had a very new dimension coming to the leadership when we started the accreditation process across India. So we had the traditional senior most consultant of the hospital becoming a medical superintendent or an administrator, to MDs, MHAs, and MBAs getting into this job as administrators and serious administrators. And their responsibilities, their roles, and their management responsibilities was redefined and refined by the National Accreditation Board when the standards came in. Till such time, we did not know the role of these responsibilities of management at the healthcare sectors. So would you like to highlight on these aspects and how accreditations has helped in improving the role of top management, senior leaders in improving the quality of the hospital?
Thank you so much. I think that's a wonderful question, and I truly believe what you've just echoed, that leadership has been at the center of NABH standards throughout the first edition itself. Traditionally, all of you are senior assessors, principal assessors, and you are very well versed with the standards of NABH. And everybody knows that we follow a 10-chapter approach, which beautifully outlines the patient-centric roles and the facility-centric or the management-centric encompassed very well enshrined. And ultimately, at the heart of it all, as a concentric layer around patient safety and healthcare quality is a very prominent circle of leadership also. Since the first standard itself, the first version, the first edition of our standards, we have placed lots of emphasis in every objective element on leadership. And there are, of course, in the fifth edition, the ROM 3, the ROM 2, they are very precise. They name it in plain English that you need good ethical leadership at the helm of affairs, which clearly mandates ethics in all that which we do. But beyond that, I think the entire standards from AAC 1 till end, all of our objective elements also have a very prominent element of communication and very strong emphasis on good clinical practices, ethics, and handing over and continuity of care. And all these small nuances make up a true leader. Every nursing officer is a leader because they handle those truly life and death situations, those split-second decisions. Every office ward boy is also a leader. And when they all come together to save lives, I think it's truly a great symphony. And NABS standards truly enshrine that beautiful note. The entire standards are all about leadership in a very wholesome way.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Atul. I think who could have laid down better than you yourself about all the NABH standards, and it is so good to again getting it reiterated from you. So, Dr. Murli, we have not met for so long, and it is not good that we are online meeting you, but we have learned so much. You are the one who was part of that big team in 2004, 2005 onwards, who basically led this whole dimension towards quality in the country. You have done so well. You've improved outcomes within your institution. You have mentored so many other institutions. So my plain question to you is, what are these leadership attributes which would be responsible for improving quality?
Thank you very much, Dr. Sanjeev, sir. And it's great to be among this really a learned audience. And, just to, slightly break the monotony, the previous time I met Mr. Dr. Sanjeev, physically was the place where the Prime Minister normally, the stage we uses, and then we saw him with the Prime Minister and now virtually. So with this, coming to the, the specific question. So couple of points, which I think traditionally we have a way of driving it. So a couple of points which I would like to, sort of state, this is what we have started doing in terms of better acceptance in quality, is that what happens ultimately what two things happened. One is when NABH came in, initially as Suneel pointed out, that's the time when many of the hospitals started corporatizing. So when they started corporatizing, people also saw the value of leadership, saw some of the true principles that things have to be bottoms up, that it has to come from the from the end users up, whether it is a policy which is framed or whether it is a vision statement, everything has to be, it has to come from bottom up, and then it has to be top driven, but the feedback, everything has to come bottom from the, lower level. Now the challenge came is when leadership agreed, everyone was, okay with that, but the clinicians were not taking it. Because the clinician said, as I think Dr. Suneel pointed out, we were in an era of medical superintendent where the senior most doctor was probably the medical superintendent. So I have been doing this way, why should I change? So then, there came various methodologies. I know Dr. Amrita was one of the first organizations which started doing some of the activities. But what I would like to state is that every doctor, one of the consultants, most of them, I would say, may be passionate about one or two, which is very closely linked with quality. So one of the ways of doing it is make him a champion. Someone who is interested in hand washing. He thinks hand washing is everything in life. He says, even you do anything, but you have to do a hand washing. Make him a champion for hand washing. And then, so you say that, yes, sir, you are right, and we will want to do this. So then at least, that since he is convinced, he will start doing it. The traditional way, what most of us were doing it is, we will list out 4 or 5 things, and we will go to some consultant says, you take these 2, you take these 2, you take these 2. Maybe they had an interest, but not in that particular field. So this, I would think, started changing. Then the next big thing came is the clinical audit. Again, Dr. Sanjeev and Dr. Anand probably were the pioneers in this. That became a very, very difficult pain point for most of us, implementing NABH. Now, how do you start doing it? So where we tried in different methodologies. We said, okay, we'll give it as a thesis topic. We'll give this, but then something or the other won't be there. The attribute won't be there, or the target won't be there. So then again, this started happening. So then what we, we started doing multiple, programs, but still that didn't work. Then what we started doing is that identify one of them who will, not just do this audit. If you say it is a clinical audit, they all get. You say that we would like to do a periodic study and see how these trends are. That periodic study, you align with a clinical audit, have it in lines with a clinical audit. And because the new standard says that every department you have to do an audit every year, once at least, every scope of service. So that started giving dimension. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is, while the principles are important, the spirit is important, but all of us may have to think a little out of the box than the traditional way. That sort of helps in overall implementing it in spirit and intent. Otherwise, it will only be for the sake of assessment. During an assessment, something will be there, you would show, but in reality, not only it won't be implemented, the effects would not have been seen. So that's all I thought I would say.
That's very well narrated, Dr. Murli. The leadership is an acronym actually. It stands for loyalty, empathy, accountability, duty and determination, energy and encouragement, respect and selflessness, honorable and humble, integrity and innovation, passion and pride for work. So very beautifully you have combined all these characteristics and qualities of a leader. And those who are listening, the juniors, the communication skills were the best and the most required quality of a leader in the healthcare setup in the last decade. Probably, if you think of futuristic ideas, or if you think of the future in the leadership quality, the most important and most required, most wanted leadership quality is negotiation before communication. Negotiation is going to be the most important quality that is required for a leader to be in the healthcare setup. Having said that, we have Madam Dr. Upasana sitting quietly there. Madam, financial leadership is something which is not discussed in NABH or accreditation circles because it is totally a different audit happens in the hospitals. So we'd like to hear more from you. What are the challenges and what are the where the buck stops in financial leadership and sustainability of this financial leadership in the healthcare sector?
So thank you, Dr. Suneel. And I am really happy that today I am meeting all my dear friends who are close to my heart are sitting with me in this panel. So my hello to everyone. And I am actually, I should say, I am deeply involved with quality. And I can example myself that how quality can change a person, how you can, take your institution at higher level just to, if you are a leader and you are following something, because leader should not only speak, he should show by his or her attitude, behavior. So it's my story. If you see, Yashoda is started before in 1990. So it's a 32-year journey. But when Yashoda started coming into highlights, when we got NABH done in 2010. And from that time, I become passionate about patient safety and quality. And now Yashoda is doing so well that we are able to now create more facilities with technically with sound people. And now people want to join me. How it was possible? Because if you want to ask as a financial aspect, so quality always pays you. It is not like that if you are spending on quality, so you are losing something. Because, as a CEO of this company or as a owner of this institute, I am always thinking and looking and getting this thing that my financials are doing better than before. Rather, I am spending good amount of money on improving my quality standard, but then patient outcome is very good. then patient satisfaction is very good. So I need not to spend on marketing because my patient is my brand ambassador. He is going and talking about me, positive things, and he is the one who is sending more patients to me. So, if you are following all these norms, guidelines, chapters of NABH, you will get actually so much benefit from that you will realize if you are doing it by heart, not for certification, you are doing it by heart, you are following everything as your day-to-day activities. So it is going to pay you manifolds. Thank you, Suneel.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam. I always say she is the Madhuri Dixit of the healthcare industry. Every day she is there in the social media, and very rightly said that heart and soul has to be there, and which you walk the walk and talk the talk for last 32 years. When fantastic work done, Dr. Upasana. I would like to come to another favorite person of mine, Gracy. I have known her for so long, and she has been it's a remarkable journey from a nurse from Lilavati to a CEO of a major hospital, and having so many change ideas and being a change agent, and that's very inspirational. But then, Gracy, you know that nursing is going through its own ups and downs, and there are so many attritions. There are senior people who leave and the fresh people who join, and then you keep sort of inducting, keep training, you keep again losing these people. Sometimes spirits are low, sometimes they are sort of battered by the clinical team. So amidst all of this, how do you think that the nursing attributes towards quality and the leadership would be sort of making it strong and robust? So what would be your take from the nursing side?
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev. And I'm also very privileged to be over here because all my known people, at least whom I could not see since many days, now I can see, and whom I have worked also. Now, when you think about the attrition and the quality, one way I can say because of the quality, the attrition may be more. Because you have implemented quality in your organization. As part of quality, you started training your people, and your people become excellent, and then they have been wandered outside. That's one of the reasons for attrition, is that better quality you have initiated in your hospital. The first journey onwards, I can say, when we have started, even in my previous hospital as well as here also, the requirement of the quality is training of the people, making the people aware, and ultimately we expect the patient safety, and we expect the outcome should be best. All those things is through our employees. And basically, when I call that employee, the nursing play a very important role in that employee. And the nucleus of any healthcare institute is the nurse, and the turnover of nurse is more than any other category. Even today, I can say there are turnover from each other category also, but the nursing is the major area where the turnover is more. But there are some views or some way we can at least retain those people who will be looking into challenge, looking into quality, and who will be looking into promotion, who will be looking into better prospect in their own institution. If at all we provide a better prospect to the people in our own institution, I think to some extent this can be stopped. Another thing again, what I will say that, people don't get freedom, people don't get integrated, people don't get value. These are the things which I learned from few of my people when they were leaving. So it is not only the money, you have to give value, you have to give freedom, and you should motivate, and you should take them with you. I think if those things have been initiated by the leader, whether it is a nursing leader or a CEO or a hospital leader, and that also will help us to retain some more nurses, even not only nurses, even other categories of people also over there. Now, one another thing again, I would like to add that the clarity of job even not only to the nurses, even to the other categories of people. The clarity of job is lacking in various areas. That is again another reason where people look for greenery and they leave your organization. So if you have a real clarity on the job description and what should be the basic job specification and the job description, in that case, people will be very clear and whom they have to report, that hierarchy and all those things. If you settle down, I think, Sanjeev, though in this era, we can have at least some stoppage on this going out or going various other things. What I did in my hospital, I can see at least whatever is there, that turnover is there, but I could retain at least some good number of people, and I could manage my hospital well.
That's a fantastic experience sharing, madam. That's very, very fantastic. I know Malayalis, if they go on strike, the global health scenario will collapse. Not only Indian, it's a global health scenario that collapses. And probably Philippines is the only country where there are excess of nurses who work in call centers and shops and roadside shops. Otherwise, probably the entire globe is having deficiency of nurses. And many nursing colleges have stopped because there are no persons who are going to the nursing profession nowadays. Having said that, we have one out-of-the-box thinker here, Dr. Gaurav Loria. Mr. Gaurav, are you there?
Yes, yes, Dr. Suneel.
You have a lot of experience with the international accreditations and standards, and you are a leader in that standard, and you have done many assessments. How, in the international level, the healthcare leadership is moving on, and what are the challenges that internationally the leaders in the healthcare are facing?
Thank you for that question, Dr. Suneel. Before getting on that question, I think it will not be fair if I don't just say that, something which I really liked as one line in the discussion, which Dr. Kochhar said, and Dr. Murli kind of alluded to it, that, every person is a leader or could be a leader. So I think with that start, I would like to say that, the importance of this whole leadership as far as accreditation is concerned was, kind of structured with JCI in 94. And later on, when NABH standards added that, I think it was added in a very beautiful, well-defined and a structured mechanism. And all of us are seeing, how the whole NABH standards in the teams are leading the country's accreditation system. So with that, talking a little bit about the international piece, I think even if we look at any of the international standards, whether it is Australian standards or a Joint Commission or any other standards, or even when I visit, multiple other locations as part of JCI or as part of Apollo to other organizations, I think they also have similar mechanisms, somehow what we have in our country or in our hospitals, which is broadly breaking it down into, 3 general levels, which is about the governing structure, the leadership of the organization, and functional or the department leadership. And, each one of them definitely contributes, keeping in mind that, running a healthcare organization is like a team sport. It's very important that all the members of the team are on a single platform and, talking the same language. Again, if we talk about inadequacy in leadership, which does happen a lot of times because, as Dr. Upasana spoke about the financial aspect of it, a lot of times what we have seen is organizations end up focusing on, financials, and then, accreditation becomes once in a 3-year activity. And, you can always make out with the kind of outcomes that these organizations have. So it starts definitely from the top with the governing boards or the senior leaders of the healthcare organization who take decisions, allocate resources for the organization, evaluate the patient safety framework, moving it down to the unit leadership. And I think, as you also said that, walk the talk, and Dr. Sanjeev kind of also said the same thing. It's very important that this leadership actually talks works, what are they saying to their teams down the line? Do they also mean that we do not punish any of our employees for reporting or for doing a bad job? Rather understanding what's the and we support them in, moving to the next level or getting over that particular challenge. So I think that becomes very important, which again, we have definitely seen in many hospitals. Last week, I was actually serving a hospital in Malaysia. And I was very happy to see that their safety culture, which today a lot of us do those surveys, it has actually improved from almost where they were at 52% about 3 years back, and now they have come up to 82%. So, a lot of these things actually make a lot of difference. But we also need to understand that lack of feedback or the kind of response that we give to the staff as a leader, or not addressing staff burnouts at some time, which is in itself a different, a big issue. I think all these things make a lot of difference as far as, the whole management of an organization is concerned. Thank you.
Thanks, Gaurav. I think you have done phenomenal work, and congratulations for what you do on a daily basis.
Thank you, sir.
Nationally. And you rightly said that it has to be more engaged, and we need to set up a culture and also look at staff engagement and burnout. So very rightly so. I would like to again go back to Dr. Atul, because he is at the helm of the affairs nationally, internationally. And he did mention about ROM2, ROM3, and then that NABH basically initiated with the role of management. So is there a plan for future? So what would be a leadership 2.0 from NABH perspective?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sanjeev. So I think all standards, whatever edition they are or whatever area or domain they cover, they enshrine leadership as a core component. And this core is built about ethics. This core is built about good clinical practice, and at its heart, the core has first do no harm as a philosophy, that we have to be a patient-centric organization, and at all costs, we must provide the utmost service and communicate well, as Gaurav also highlighted. So communication, all of them. So essentially, communication at all stages, seamless teamwork, team sport, as Dr. Suneel rightly mentioned. So all those things, when they come together, they create a good leader. So leadership 2.0 is part of the consecutive standards itself. There are courses, and there may be, getting a formal course is always a good idea to reaffirm your commitments, relearn, rediscover your hidden strengths. But leadership is all about, not showing your panic and taking the responsibility at all levels. I mean, there are 100 of things which may be there, but somebody has to step up and take charge, and which I truly believe, and I'll reiterate, that every healthcare person in their small or big way, when they're handling a one-on-one, show their leadership skills. Some learn by experience, some have thirst upon them, but at the end of the day, there's the potential to be a good leader in all healthcare professionals, because whosoever joins a healthcare stream, majority of them, 99.999%, have that extra bit of empathy, which helps them to deal with a sick patient. And that's the core of leadership. It's anybody can sing and dance and spend a day of joy around healthy people, but to be amidst sick people, unwell patients, it takes lots of courage, and that is the core of leadership. So salute to all the healthcare professionals, all the youngsters who are here today, and let me just tell them that they all have it within themselves to be a true leader. And so keep on doing the exemplary things which they are doing, and NABH will always help them. NABH is just a platform, just a means to collate all these things together and work in an ethical manner. And whatever you are doing, just remember that primum non nocere, that first do no harm, that philosophy holds true. And I hope
That is,
I answered. I did not. When you can't answer it, confuse it. So that's my principle.
that is very well articulated, sir. That's very well articulated. Very well. My question to Dr. Murli, are you there?
Yeah.
No two clinicians will agree. How will you identify? A quick review on how, as a clinician as a leader, and leader as a clinician, how will you address it?
So, meaning, as I said, I look at it this way, meaning this is more, I'm just talking some things very basics, because I understand a lot of you who are in this call are for implementation. We all know that no two clinicians may agree on a majority of issues, but there may be a few issues, which they would agree. And Dr. Sanjeev would agree. If it is anything related to management, all the clinicians would agree on that point. I'm sure Suneel would also agree on that. So, as one of the ways of taking it is, as he said, take those simpler points, easier points, low-hanging fruits, which more often than not, most of them would agree on that, and then build on that. Because again, as I am telling, most of the times what we do is, we try to, get everything right, which doesn't happen. You get the smaller things right, and then, you take it. The second part was, clinician as a leader, and, how do you look at that? Meaning, I think every clinician is a leader by himself. It is just that how he expresses it, and what are the leadership which he would want. A simple fact that he takes charge of the patient's clinical problem, for whichever problem is coming, and takes it to a logical conclusion itself is a leadership skill. Otherwise, even if it's some cough or a cold or viral fever, he ensures, he takes charge, and he tells them that you do this, do that. Now, the only question is, we all have a different, in our mind, leader means we think it has to be like this, what the business school teaches us, so probably, we have to take that away and identify and respect what each one is good at. And then, maybe just use that to your advantage, use that, to our advantage. So the other point which I would want to say is, how do you sell quality to, clinicians, and how do you make these clinicians as leaders? Majority of you who are there are implementers, of quality. So I would suggest the following, and this is what happened, probably to Dr. Suneel, to me, to Dr. Sanjeev, when we all started this journey, probably about 15 or 18 years back. What we did is that we sat with them. They abused us. They told us 101 things. We listened to them. And then we said, okay, thank you. And then what we did is, in that they would have told at least 3 or 4 points, which is in line with what you would want. You implement that, make a change, and then go back to tell them, sir, you told that day, no egos in quality. You told us that day to do these 4 things. And it was so useful. I did these 4 things. And because of this, our outcomes, our satisfaction, our, whatever has gone at least 30% high. I just wanted to thank you. Don't go that time with an agenda. Okay, now I want to thank you. And please now do this. Don't go with that. You just stop there. I think this is a bit of psychologist, and as a neurologist, I have some idea on this. Then, he will, next time when you go, you ask him, sir, any more ideas? He will come. So get him into your path. I'm sure many of us, when we trace our Viva Voce, we take the examiners in your path. Same way, that's what. So you need to, it is like all clinicians are leaders in their own respects. Where would you want to take is in our hands. And, maybe there are about 10 or 20% who would not be interested, but look at the 80%.
Fantastic. Dr. Murli, whenever we hear you, it's always pearls of wisdom. And you did mention about taking small steps, and you did mention about doing a Pareto. So not look at 100 by 100, but 80 by 20 is also good enough. So Dr. Upasana, you said that you have 32 years of experience. What would you like to change as a phenomenal healthcare leader who is doing such fantastic work from managing your hospital, expanding your hospital, export, medical value travel, leadership, women entrepreneurs. What would you like to see as a change in the new healthcare leadership?
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev. Actually, if you see, healthcare is already changing very fast. As now technology is taking over and AI is working very, taking so many things very away from the clinicians, like AI can diagnose, X-ray can tell all these things. But same time, I really want that that human touch, which was there, if you see few years back. Doctors and patient were having a different kind of relationship. That was a relationship with the soul. When somebody was talking about his clinician, there was a respect in his eyes. My Dr. Sahab. So I really want to tell everyone kindly, still there are good doctors. They are actually caring about you. They are there for you only. So I want to change a concept of society which is changing towards healthcare and doctors. Same time, I really want all those young generation who are watching us, who are with us today, they should also, change their attitude towards patients and towards their workplace. At your age, when we were young, like you, me, and Dr. Murli, you all are very young to me, but still I can say that era was different, and these days young boys and girls are working differently. So I want that kindly focus some time on your workplace. Do not disturb yourself with this social media and something, because you are dealing with human life. So it's good that you are adopting technology, and I really welcome all the technology which is coming with the all new equipment. But same time, healthcare is not that place where we can totally depend on technology. We are supposed to be very, very, giving human touch to our patients. And that is the change. I really want that society should again respect our doctors, our healthcare workers and hospitals. Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev.
That is very well said, madam. Real words of wisdom. Madam Gracie, are you there? Madam, one quick question to you. Madam Gracie?
Yes, madam is there.
Okay. Madam Gracie, just one quick question. A lot of change has come in the ROM chapter in NABH, if you see from the first edition to the 5th edition. Of late, the new inclusion includes the change management, etc. Now, can you tell 1 or 2 points at least what you expect in the next edition of ROM chapter that should come in the leadership quality management?
ROM chapter, you mean?
Yeah, ROM.
Actually, our 5th edition ROM chapter is been well written. Whoever was the chairperson, it has been well written. You take the first standard itself, that what we say that governors even also should know what is their responsibility, and governors should know what is happening in the hospital, and governors should take part in the quality as well as in the safety journey of the organization. And next, it has come like governors should see that what is the outcome of the hospital. Regular, you should see feedback from the people, and again governors expect the quarterly report from the top level leaders. So if those things which has already written over there, I think if that has been done or that had been taken seriously by every person in that first run of the organization, and I think the hospital will grow. That's what I strongly believe, and I really congratulate the people on that 5th edition, those additional thing. And another thing, 6, though it was there in the earlier edition also, but more emphasis has been given into 5th edition is that of the culture of safety, as well as the what you do, the risk assessment, risk management and risk assessment. Earlier it was just a minor form, but now if you in your facility round, which was there in once in a year for routine area and once in 6 months for the clinical area, now it has brought into once in a month. So after each of your facility round, you are going to see that what additional risk you have noticed and how you can mitigate those particular thing like that. So that again, it has come in our 5th edition. So I think at the presently, the 5th edition ROM chapter is okay and it is sufficient.
Complete.
Madam Gracy is always a satisfied soul, and nobody could beat her. Gaurav, we are running out of time. Very quick thing. How do we build team? How do we build good team leaders?
So, sir, I think it's very important to first understand what are we wanting to achieve at the end of the day with these leaders that we want to get in place. Understand the characteristics of, we did talk about multiple characteristics of leadership. Making sure that we have equipped them with appropriate tools. We are guiding them as leaders, where they are making mistakes, advising them, guiding them how to move forward, like not exactly like a career counselor, but, being there, making sure that, give them the complete responsibility as well as, freedom to take decisions. Probably one of the good things is that, you take all the bad things when it happens and give them the credit for all the good things. I think that boosts the confidence. That's how I have learned. And I think that's what is very important for the teams to grow. But at the end of the day, also give them the tools and the resources, knowledge, best practices, sharing, so that, they can move forward and make a difference.
Perfect. So it was such a pleasure listening to all of you. Thank you so much, Dr. Atul, Dr. Murli, Dr. Upasana, Gracy, and Gaurav, for sharing your experience. And it's been an amazing learning for the last almost an hour. Though this was not in the script, I'll request Dr. Atul that it is very frustrating that we are meeting online. You should organize at least a physical meeting where we can at least share some of it's been a long time post-COVID. So just a request, and thank you so much for
that's spoken like a true leader, Dr. Sanjeev. So I think we have to adhere to that protocol.
Yes. And with the permission of the chair, I just wanted to say 5 seconds only that, this year is going to end in a satisfying note. The first is, we had a very, good session with, NABH CEO as well as Kaho. It's always good, wonderful to see, partners coming together and, doing such wonderful programs. The second is, again, an honor and privilege to speak in a session moderated by our great Sanjeev sir. It's not only for me, for everyone. And I think third is to Upasana madam, who called us boys. So thank you so much, madam.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Dr. Suvin.
Thanks, sir. Thanks. And it was a pleasure hearing all 7 of you, the moderators and panelists included. It was a pleasure to have you. And the discussion was a learning experience for all of us, sir. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time and thanks for your input. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thanks, Kaho, and thanks to everyone.
Thank you very much.
Teams. Thank you.